revenue management side of things, but a few years ago we decided to do the same thing for the marketing organization, and actually that came with two prerequisites. One was a regulatory one. That was at the time that Saudi was kind of enforcing the Saudization for marketing talent on property. So we came at that time where you had a lot of expats on property in Saudi Arabia that ended up not getting their visa renewed and just had to leave. So that left a big gap for hotels. The second element is about the talent themselves, right? Recruiting the talents for some of these hotels is a challenge, and that's something that we've exchanged on earlier as well. So we came with the the concept of the centralized marketing shared services, just to alleviate the need for hotels to be thinking about how to go behind the regulations and find a way to have marketing people without calling them marketing on property, and how do we attract and retain the marketing on property without attracting those talents and having to retain those talents as well. So that's the reason why we built at IG in this part of the world the marketing centralized services model. And yeah, working very well. And again, for those of you who attend that conference, I spoke about it, I think 3 years ago or 2 years ago, and we were just launching it, and as of today, still there.
Interesting. And Ahmed, it's interesting that you're sitting on a panel with hotelier, being an ex-hotelier yourself at JBR Communicators, building on how IG saw the solution. You stepped outside of hotels into the other side because you saw an opportunity, especially in markets like Saudi. So do you want to tell us a little bit of how JBR actually today operate and what solutions you provide?
Definitely. So first of all, it's great to be here on this panel with ex-colleagues. I worked actually with both IG and Accor as Fairmont and Raffles. In fact, I've been in different roles in the hotel industry, and I'm not a hotelier. As a student, and I studied hospitality to become a hotelier. I'm a marketeer. So I studied business. I love hotels. I have passion, and I have the interest in working in hotels. And I came here to United Arab Emirates and worked with different hotels and brands. What came actually to my mind in at first when we started thinking of reducing the gaps as well, because we noticed that there's a gaps in being in a hotel level with a certain resources, with a certain capabilities and talents to retain. It came to my mind saying, okay, now I don't see that there is much of specialized agencies in our region focused on hospitality. You can find a great creative agency, great PR, great social media, but at the same time, the fragmentation cost a lot for the hotel. Not only just about the money, it's about the time, about the alignment, about working with different stakeholders. So JBR by itself, it came to solve or to support a need. So JBR by itself, it's a solution with ex-hoteliers background. It's not only me as ex-hotelier. I have 14 people in my team. They are all ex-hoteliers, plus the second level, they are the creative people. So we merge between hospitality people and creative mindset. This gives us a great layer. And so in a summary, we think like hoteliers, but we act like marketers.
Perfect, great. And Anna, I want to go back to you because you talked about the fact that there are no more silos. We need to put like really the commercial hat on everyone. From where you sit as a general manager today, how did your perspective on your expectation from your commercial team changed over time?
I think it's changed quite radically in the last few years. I still remember as a GM before somebody bringing to me the idea that we'd centralize the revenue process and being very against it, thinking, oh my God, how will I cope without having my revenue manager or director on property? But, you have to evolve and change, and things can't stay the same. So I think, when I look at it as a hotel, I look at the three platforms of kind of people, platforms, and partners. And you have to think, where's the best bang for my buck, basically? And, traditionally having this high level of payroll on property isn't really the way forward going, and the change in technology is so fast now. You need to have extra support to be able to get you the best processes, the best platforms that you can to operate your commercial strategy from. So I think, but it all comes down to people at the end of the day. I think, it's all about relationship management. So whether you're partnering with somebody, whether you're using a platform, there's always someone behind the engine. And that relationship still remains absolutely integral to the success of the commercial property strategy.
Okay, perfect. Matthew, I want to go back to you because we talked about the customer expectation, the change, and how AI is impacting the customer journey and the behavior, but you manage also a complete different set of audience as well. The previous panel talked about the asset management and the relationship with owners. How do you look at that from going into several conversation of trying to actually convince or debate about what is the optimum commercial structure on a property level should be? And do you see a difference in certain markets in terms of what it looks like?
I mean, answering the last question first, yes, there's a big difference from market to market, but also from hotel to hotel. There's a lot of criteria that you can look at in order to determine what's the need for your commercial structure and the size of the team. I mean, first of all, what's the size and shape of the hotel? It's not only key count, it's how many what's your F&B profile? Are you banqueting led or are you retail F&B led? If you're retail F&B led, what are your outlets? Are they signature destination dining outlets, in which case they might have a stronger marketing requirement? That informs something that you need there. Are you a resort? If you're a resort, are you a golf resort or are you a beach resort? That's going to inform different things. If you're a city hotel, are you transient led or are you group led? Are you B2C led? Are you B2B led? That determines perhaps if you need more marketing or revenue management or if you need more sales. If you're transient led, what's the extent of intermediation in your transient business? And how much can you drive potentially through distribution levers instead of traditional sales contracting levers? One of the things that we talked about in our preparation calls was taking that example of a resort hotel, of which we have many in the UAE. But you can operate some pretty large resorts with a fairly small commercial team if they're highly B2B led in their mix, if there's a high degree of intermediation in the business that they're getting, and if there is a small group of intermediates. If you're driving the majority of your leisure wholesale business through a handful of DMCs and tour operators, you can manage that with a fairly small sales requirement, and if that's the majority of your business, you don't need a large marketing team. Yeah. So there's a wealth of factors in there that you can consider.
That's interesting. And Pierre-Marie, when you created the shared services module, did you face resistance from GMs, properties, and what was the value proposition that you put forward? How did you sell this to your individual hotels?
Yeah, I think it was coming at the back of COVID as well, right? So and everybody was talking about the talent and the difficulty to recruit those talent on property, especially for marketing, right? And we discussed earlier as well, but if you take a market like, Saudi Arabia, when you have good marketing talents, obviously, and these people have to be national Saudis as well, they'd rather go into other industry than the hospitality industry, right? So it was a challenge. Now, having said that, I think initially there was some resistance from the GMs, and exactly from what you mentioned, I think it's like, where is going to be my marketing person, right? I'm not going to see my marketing manager every day coming to the office, but it's been the same thing with some revenue management being outsourced as well. So that was one, I would say, one key element that we had to face. And to answer your question on more like how we pitched and turned the entire thing, I guess it was about like the value that we bring from having that knowledge centrally, because obviously as you have someone, who's going to manage 5 to 10 hotels, that person is picking up, from 5 and 10 different properties, right? So the learning is being built up a lot more quicker than when you have one solo person, sitting on property. So having the expertise of a central team really helped as well to, to deploy the model to the rest of the hotels and to GMs and owners. And there's a cost element, but some people always ask me, is it a cost factor? You're trying to get rid of people on property, and we always say we don't. And I think we'll come to that as well in terms of like a hybrid model of, many hotels would still need people on property on the ground. as well as probably some support in a central team.
Okay, I think what's interesting, Ahmed, is how the business model that JBR offer today present a difference value, if any, compared to a shared services solution. Where do you see the difference on what JBR is offering versus a module like what PM just explained today?
Definitely. I think there is two ways to look at it. There is the direct value and the indirect value. The direct value comes with the speed of delivery, the quality, the model itself, finding the right talent, getting the advice from experts, preparing and planning, because you know what hotels usually with a small teams or a mid-sized team in general, they become with the load of work reactive more than proactive. With having an outsourced agency supporting them on the planning phase, it gives them this threshold of putting a plan together, thinking ahead, thinking of Ramadan, thinking of festive, thinking of rooms campaign in summer, planning, and because they have wider talents to support them, and we use the people that work at the hotel level for the coordination, for the managing the stakeholders' relationship with their managers, at the same time if there's an event on site. But what I also agree with Matthew said about there's no size fits all. What works good for a business hotel is completely different than a resort, and it's completely different than a remote location.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you struggle to have the talent. And when you struggle to have the talent also, you need to keep in mind the indirect value, which is the headache comes to the GM and the DOSM, is to stop thinking of sales and trying to replace this person, trying to do the HR work, trying to do a lot of back of the house work. It changed their mind from focusing on sales than more into the admin work. So when you have an outsourced agency with the support of someone or a small team in the property, you get this level of dynamics, and that helps with the turnover as well, reduce the turnover rate, and because any hotel loses a talent in general within sales or marketing or revenue, you have a turbulence minimum of 30% of the time of the year until you get this person hired with the replacement, and then you get this person on board.
So essentially you're taking off the load of like really the overhead costs, the retention and all of that by actually taking the burden for the hotel, because you manage the talent, you manage the team, and you become the extended team.
Definitely. So the JBR model in a simple way, yes, we are an extension to the marketing teams.
Yeah.
That gives them the support and give them the as well the leverage to utilize our experience as ex-senior hoteliers worked in our region in general. And we do serve in different locations that really struggle to find talents. Maybe in Dubai, in Abu Dhabi, in some major cities, that's maybe not the main case. But for example, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Qatar, at some point, with the regulations changes, that causes a headache for people working as a senior to an admin roles. At the same time, commercially, makes the GM focus on quality. Perfect. And focus on their core, and USM just to focus on sales, because he has the back support of that marketing is going well in two ways. I know maybe I added a lot of information now, but we focus on two aspects: to keep the property on brand, working with the brand team, at the same time maximizing and optimizing the revenue for owners. So your results gets better because of sales, really focusing on sales, and we focus on marketing.
Anna Marie, I want to pick your sort of brain on that. Obviously, in a typical operational module, there are some services in hotels usually that we outsource. Mm-hmm. Some we continue to manage. If what the gents here have explained, whether it's an internal shared service or an outsource for marketing could work, do you see that could work for revenue, for sales as well?
Revenue already works very effectively, but actually I'm going to have a conversation with Ahmed tomorrow about marketing, because talent is a challenge, and I run a remote resort in the middle of the desert, and so for me to try and keep consistency in talent, people might come for 1 year, but 1 year goes in a flash, and so we've constantly, since I've been there 2.5 years, been turning over in marketing, and it's not good for the commercial strategy of the property as well. So tomorrow, I think you always have to be open-minded. You have to look at all your options. Clustering's another option. I could cluster with another property in Riyadh, or I could think out the box and see what his company has and whether that might take a few more headaches off my plate from marketing. Because I just think, we always have to challenge ourselves to think, how can I do things differently? How can I do things more efficiently? But how can I bring better value to the resort as well? So I think you've just got to be open-minded at all of these changes that come along. And as I say, there's more coming down the road. It changes every single day.
100%.
And so I don't feel that you can stay set in the past or set in the structures that you had in the past. You've always got to be open-minded and explore opportunities about how you can work faster, how you can work more efficiently, and how you can work better.
Makes sense. Matthew, if I go back to you on strategy versus execution, does it work to be completely outsourced, or maybe the strategy remains in and the execution can be outsourced? What's the thoughts on that?
I think you can. I feel like outsourcing strategy is very common. Ask Bain, McKinsey, ask Ahmed, they'll tell you. And at unit level, I mean, those are large examples, but at unit level, we do a lot of that today. We outsource sales representation. We have shared service models with different hospitality companies that PM was telling us about. We outsource mystery shop programs, upsell programs, et cetera, et cetera. There are examples within commercial that we're outsourcing today. The one thing I would say about execution is that something that I remember from the early days of my career is being told that you can delegate task and process, but you can't delegate responsibility. So as the commercial leader of the property, as the GM, you retain responsibility for performance if you're outsourcing. And why I mention that is because it means it's really critical that you work closely with your outsource partners, or your shared service leaders, to make sure that expectation is clear. Yeah. When delivery is greater or equal to expectation, then satisfaction occurs. So that for me is key. Spend time with your outsource partners, with your shared service providers, to make sure that expectation and deliverables are clear, so that everybody knows when they are when you're in the execution phase.
I guess the open question to all of you, so what is the recommended module from your side? Obviously from JBR, we know what it is. But is it shared service? Is it in-house? Is it outsourced? Or is there a need to what we said earlier, there's no one size fits all, so maybe we need a hybrid?
I believe it's a hybrid. I think that every property is different, every market is different, and so you've just got to weigh up the set of circumstances that you're in and make the best decisions. Every property is completely different, whether you're a high luxury end property or whether you're Premier Inn or something. Everybody's got different needs, so I don't think there's a one size fits all for this. For me, it's a hybrid. You just got to take the decisions that are right for your particular property.
And I guess especially in the marketing and communication front, right? You need, my team is bringing the expertise from an IHG standpoint to the hotels, right? But I would still rely on probably a JBR or some other companies as well to just support us in some of those delivery, right? So I think it's not about conflicting, it's about complementing each other. And again, on that hybrid, I think some hotel may need talent on property, some hotel may not need talent on property. And then, how do you work with your shared services model as well as an external partner? There is no one size fits all.
I guess
guarantee.
From your perspective, you cannot fully operate without having at least a connection with the hotel. You need someone at the hotel to work with you on a day-to-day basis, right?
Well, definitely. In general, hybrid is the future. In general, so it worked for housekeeping, it worked for F&B, it worked for operations. The outsourcing model. Yeah. So why not marketing? Why not commercial? So I think instead of asking why, we have to ask why not. We have different scopes in general. I don't want to pick and choose one of the scopes, but we have hotels started with them with a zero marketing person, and in Saudi Arabia, this hotel, and we help the hotel to find the right talent so they can work with us, because the owners, they want one representative in that hotel. We have hotels, for example, in remote location that specific people needs to be accessed there, and not everyone is interested to be working in this property, then we have very limited support from a marketing person in-house. We have a coordinator level. It's just like for finance and admin, but we do attend all the meetings with corporate offices, we attend even webinars and seminars with other suppliers and partners on behalf of the hotel, and we report back to the owners. So we sit in BRMs. So in this scope, I think hybrid is the future. So there is no size fits all. That's in a summary.
Matthew, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm probably echoing the sentiment. I think the dream would be if we had unlimited budget, if we had all of the talent that we need in every market in which we operate, if we didn't care about GOP and we had owners that didn't care about their return, then we'd employ everybody direct and get every single piece of talent and we'd have the best of everything. But that's not the reality of how we operate. We do have limitations on budget. And there are more efficient ways of doing things if we look at shared service options or if we work with outsourced partners. So we have to be pragmatic. Every market is different. In terms of the availability of talent, the budget available, and every market is different in terms of the availability of outsourced options or
and
not.
technology is just changing so fast as well. So to have a specialist in something that stays on top of how quickly that technology is changing makes a lot easier as an operator, as a general manager, than having to keep finding talent that can stay on top of the way technology is changing 100%. And how we're running our commercial activities.
Totally. We've got a few minutes left, so I would love to just turn to the audience to see if there is any question, topic to my panel here. I know it's 4:30 on the first day, lot to take in, but
more food to come.
I know we're not done yet.
Not with Muna, so still has things to show.
Any specific questions? Any thoughts? Not necessarily questions. Maybe agree, disagree with the panel. You're a very well-behaved audience.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. So I think I just need to thank my panelists today for their insights. Thank you very much for joining us. Appreciate it. And I think many of them will be here for the next day as well. So if you want to have conversations during the break, please feel free to do so. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, before you get rid of me from stage, I think I've got one more task to do. So we would like to thank JBR Communicators actually for putting the visual identity of the mastermind together. Ahmed and his team joined the HSMI. I introduced him to Muna. I don't know if he still loves me for that or not because he's stuck now, but they did a great job with Muna in elevating a lot of the visual identity and a lot of the work around the mastermind and few more which will be revealed throughout this conference. So we just wanted to take a moment to thank them for everything they've done to the HSMI conference. They've really done it with passion. They've seen a lot of opportunities, and I can see it that it keeps improving. So a lot of the graphics design you see in the conference was actually done by them. The Mastermind is a great mentorship program. It started with the Revenue Advisory Board, and then we actually, it was around 3 years ago, I think, Muna. And then we followed in marketing last year with the first intake, and this year we took the second intake. I know the Sales Advisory Board, you're here, guys? Some of them, hands, you're here? Some of them? They are committed to do it next year, right? The Sales Advisory Board, so they will take some of the mentorship. This is a program that's really designed for the younger talent, those who are looking for opportunities to interact with industry leaders in different functions, revenue, marketing, sales. It involves one-on-one sessions, coaching, project-based. Really great opportunity. If I think of the old days of my career, I was always looking for programs like this in order for me to really nurture and move forward with my career. So it's a great opportunity for all the younger talent. Today, actually, one of the reasons why HSMI as a platform actually exists today is to facilitate those things. So I'm going to introduce two of my fellow colleagues on the Marketing Advisory Board, Karen and Rob, who's going to take you in a conversation with two of our recent talents, Solesh and Haya, to tell you a little bit more about their experience with the Marketing Mastermind. Karen, Rob, Solesh, Haya, please come on stage. All yours.
Great. Well, thank you very much, Loué, for the introduction and for setting the scene for what is a fantastic program in terms of developing our future talent. You've heard a lot about AI today, but it's really nice that we're ending on a story about people, because as Liz was saying this morning, we are a people for people industry. So with us today, we have two of our candidates from the Marketing Mastermind program. We have Saulesh and we have Haya. So would you like to first of all start by introducing yourself, your role, and why you joined the Mastermind program?
Yeah, sure. Thank you for asking, Rob. And I'm really grateful to be here and to be on the stage. My name is Saulesh. I am the part of the brand and marketing team at Fairmont Hotels and Resorts, based here in Dubai. I think I joined this program because I wanted to shift from the execution mode to more strategic thinking. I wanted to really understand how the leaders are thinking, how they make decisions, and how to understand how to drive the results to the business. And I think this program is really the push I was needed. And I think that for young people in the industry, this kind of exposure makes huge difference. So I think I'm really grateful to be here, and I think I'm very lucky to be selected by the committee to take part in it. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much. Haya, same question.
So thank you, Kieran and Rob, for having me today. I was very happy to be part of the program and selected from one of the 5 mentees. I'm Haya. I'm the marketing manager at the Kempinski Hotel Mall of the Emirates. And actually, when I first submitted for the program, I was looking to grow basically not only my career, my position, of course, because I started as a marketing executive with Kempinski, but also I wanted to learn from different leaders in the industry. And being part of this program, I believe, really opened up my network, opened my horizon about every skills a leader should have. And yeah.
Great, thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kiran Kumar. I'm the Regional Director of Marketing for United Hospitality Management. It is great to be here with this great talent, and we have a few more who couldn't make it to the conference, unfortunately. But I think it's great insight, and it's a great program where I think emerging marketeers and commercial disciplines have an opportunity to get mentored. I think I had a lot of mentors in my life, in my career of last 20 plus years, and that helps. Learning never stops. I think learning, as we say, is a journey, not a destination. So I think it's a great platform, and I wish I had this opportunity, so I encourage everyone to push the emerging talent to come and take the opportunity with this program. So it's great to get the insights of, after the few months of mentorship with experts in the industry. So I'll ask a couple of questions to each one of you just to see how the experience was so far. So Haya, what was your key learning from this program in the last 3 months of experience?
I think in terms of insights I learned from those 3 months is just always to work not only on the marketing side of things, because yes, I am part of the marketing team, but it's about also a more strategic planning between marketing, sales, and revenue, so that it's more targeting the commercial profits of the company, and it's more about connecting the dots. And I think for that, Nicholas, my mentor, really helped me towards that goal, especially that we were working on new F&B concepts as well as wellness facilities.
So while you were going through this, what was that typical transformation you felt? You know, you were doing this, you were getting involved before as well, right? But while going through that mentorship, so how did you find yourself approaching your colleagues on these discussions and conversations?
Well, you know, it's about more than just creating the content for marketing campaigns. It's about picking my brains on those details, more personalizing the customer journey, I must say, so that it's optimized also for the commercial side, not only for the exposure and the awareness, but to also make profit out of it.
Excellent. Salesh, in terms of real-world challenges, I think you were, of course, you were getting involved in all the activities before, and in reality, in real terms, in terms of execution, how did it change the way you look at things when opportunities during this time?
Yeah, I think one of my biggest challenges in my role was that when the situation when you're managing many teams involved, and things are changing quickly. So sometimes it can be a lot to coordinate, and it's easy to be overwhelmed. So especially when everyone has different timelines and priorities. So I think my mentor teach me that I need to sometimes step back and look at the situation differently. And I don't need to jump into the chaos straight away. So I need to step back, and I need to think, and I need to ask myself questions such as who needs to be involved, how we can communicate clear and simple, how we need to, what needs attention right now. So I think this approach made the biggest challenge of me. Made it easier, and for me now it's more comfortable to deal with type of things.
Perspective of looking at things like before. Rob, over to you.
Great, thank you. It sounds like you got some great experience there, Savalesh. Question to you, Hai. You've talked about some of the experiences you had and things you learned from your mentor. But what best practices or habits did you take with you into your day job that you learned from your mentor?
Of course, I learned a lot, not only from my mentor, but the whole program. But the main focus was about to be driven by data, because before I was not really looking at the data that we had and analyzing it and working through that towards a successful campaign. So I would say picking my brain into those numbers really helped me in succeeding for the launch of our projects at the hotel specifically.
Fantastic to have a very data-centric approach. That is a best practice to learn.